With my previous series of talking about my IEM collection, have quite a bit of success, has a lot of views, a lot of likes, people seem to like it, and a lot of people have been requesting doing a headphone, my IEM collection, my headphone collection. So yeah, here I am doing one. So this is the first part, and we are going to talk about the budget headphone, which is the super budget headphone, which is about under $100. And to be completely honest, at this price range, I would just usually pick IEMs. For under $100, I would usually recommend IEMs and don't even bother on purchasing headphones, because at this price range a lot of the headphones out there are just horrible. A lot of them are just horrible. Maybe at around $200 the headphones would start beating out IEMs at that price, probably with the HD6XX, with the 4XX, with the HE400Is, and those type of headphones would usually, I would put them above all of the IEMs at that price range. So at this price range, I would usually just recommend IEMs, because here the headphones are usually not very well tuned, and not a lot of them don't have very good technical performance too, so I don't know what you're actually looking for at this price range for headphones. So yeah, and if you can see the selections, my selections here are a lot less impressive than my IEM collection. And this is actually not, you might think that when I usually shill on headphones, I usually talk headphones so highly above IEMs. I know there are speakers above headphones, but I don't have the room to make for a speaker room. I don't have the space in my house for speaker room, so headphones is basically what I can get the most of. Like, the best sound quality I can get for now is probably still headphones. Maybe in a few years I can make a speaker room if I have enough money for one. So yeah, I really love headphones, especially the open backs, and at this price range is only a few headphones that I would easily recommend. I don't have the benchmark headphones. I don't have a lot of the benchmark headphones because I don't see the point of buying a lot of headphones at this price range. The usual headphones to recommend at this price range is probably going to be the M40X, the SHP 9500s, the Takstar 82 Pros, those kinds of headphones. And also we have the KOS KSC75 and the KOS KPH30Is. So those are probably going to be your go-to headphones at this price range. I don't have the SHP 9500s with me now, but that's because probably I'm not going to use them for my daily, as a daily driver, because I have a lot of other selections of headphones. So these are basically what I got. I have the AD500X, the ATH AD500X, the HiFiMan HE350, which is modded, but this one is not modded by me. So I will have a separate video talking about all the mods that I did with my headphones, and I'm just going to glaze through them now because these are not personally modded, so I'm not going to have a dedicated video for them, but I'll explain a bit about the mod later. With this one, it's of course the beloved M40X, the Samsung thing. This one is actually broken. This is the Samsung 668B, if I'm not mistaken. The one that's shaped like this. But it's a fairly popular set of headphones at this price range, so I'm going to talk about it here. It's a broken unit now. It doesn't work anymore. It works with severe channel imbalance because I did a lot of dumb shit with it. But yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about them and later. And we have the excellent COS KSC75 and the KPH30Is here. And this is the Gold Planar GL 400 closed back edition. So it's not a very common headphone. Maybe the open back is a bit more common than the closed back version. Though I saw one of these going around at Tokopedia, which is something like the eBay of Indonesia. And I decided to just buy one, and yeah, something I actually regret doing. And but not really, because they sound terrible. They sound horrible. Okay, let's talk from the ones on the what do you call it? The hanger, the podium, the thing, the one with the wooden thing. Okay. First, I'll talk about the Air Dynamics 500X. So, if you've watched the video of when I talk about my budget IEMs, which is about $50 to $150, I talk about Audio-Technica and how they tune their headphones to be neutrally tuned, but not naturally tuned. It sounds neutral, but it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound balanced, and I suspect that it's because they can't tune pinna gain properly for most of their headphones, for most of their open back headphones, and this is one of the examples of they're not tuning them properly. These sounds flattish, neutralish, although they don't sound natural. The timbre, the tonality of everything, especially vocals, sounds quite incorrect to my ears, and sadly that's just the fact, because these are actually quite enjoyable if you don't listen to vocals. It's wide, it's spacious, it's good, especially if you do a bit of gaming. It's also very good, but the tonal balance is just horrible in my opinion, and I don't really like these. Hence I only wear them a couple of times just to test out how these things sound. I decided to not do a full review of them because it's only going to be just me bashing on their tonal balance. And yeah, and I have a lot of other more exciting things to review instead of these. And the second one is the HE350, and a lot of people have been hating on these IEMs, and for the right reason. I'm a bit far away from these things, so yeah, my table setup is not for headphones, it's for IEMs, especially for a lot of headphones. It's definitely not. So the mod that the previous owner with this headphone is, if you've owned one, you'd probably look for a possible mod for these, because a lot of hi-fi are very susceptible to mods. However, this is actually a dynamic driver hi-fi headphone, which is quite rare, especially and even for a lot of their budgets, it's actually quite rare also. And what he did was he used somewhat of a treble filter here to reduce the treble of these headphones. So because this particular series, this particular headphone is very, very bright, and it's not the bright and resolving kind. It's just bright and sibilant and just bright. And with this filter, it's actually fixed a lot of the problems here. I am currently using the focus pads here, although I actually prefer the original pads, not the let me see if I can get one of the pads. The pads kinda look like this one. It's the HE6 pads, although this one is for the older HE6, the early version, my unit, the 4-screw silver HE6 pads. They use the newer, the one with the mounted ring. This is just glued on some kind of plastic here, and yeah, but they look and feel kind of like this. It's a bit, the ear hole is a bit narrower and it's a bit softer to touch, but it's somewhat kind of like this, and yeah, I actually prefer the sound using the original ring. It's a bit brighter than using the focus pads, but I think the tuning filter already did a very good job at reducing the treble region for me, and I actually prefer them without the extra reduction in treble with the pads here. So yeah, it sounds just a bit more correct for me. And with that filter, with the filter on and using the original pads, I think the tonal balance here is quite good. It's quite a bit better even than the AD500X. So it's actually a valid choice if you're looking at this price, or if you just like come across something like this. And yeah, let me just place it like, yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay, next is my first headphone, my first personally purchased headphone, the ATH M40X. This is the headphone that started everything. It used to be my favorite headphone for a long time because it's basically the only thing I own. I did quite a bit of modifications here. It's not a mod per se. I tried a lot of pads. I ended up with the brainwave oval pads. I had the sheep's, no, not the sheepskin, but the pleather angled brainwave pads here, but it looks just horrible. And I also, if you can see, I bent the headband like this because it's just more comfortable for me to have, because I have somewhat of a hot spot on top. And yeah, it's a simple, no nonsense, closed back V-shape sounding, and yeah, it's not very resolving. It's definitely not the most detailed. It's horribly detailed in terms of detail. It's not the widest, it's not the most technical, but it sounds good with anything. It sounds okay, I guess. It sounds okay with almost anything you throw at it. So yeah, I'm probably not going to sell these like anytime soon because it has a sentimental value to me. I also did the to connect the adapter mod, so I can just use any cable for these, like any 3.5 cable with a 3.5 to 2.5 millimeter adapter. Yeah, it's a decent headphone to get at this price range. and I would recommend getting one if you want to get, if you're looking for a close back at this price range. If you're looking for an open back, you have a few other choices other than the M40X. For close backs, you do have things like the I've mentioned before, the Takstar 82 Pros, and also you get the M40X. So I don't think the M50X is worth it if you have the M40X right there, and it's cheaper and it's better in terms of tonal balance, and yeah, and it's less intense too. It's just simply a better sounding in my opinion. And this is the Samson thing. When I purchased this headphone, I actually didn't purchase the headphone. I actually purchased the pads. The previous owner had the Brainwaves microsuede pads with them, and I actually didn't want the headphone. I just wanted to buy the pads, but he sells the pads and the headphones for a price cheaper than just buying the pads alone. So basically I bought a headphone, ear pads, and get a free headphone with it. And yeah, when I first took a listen to them, these were hyped, okay, these were hyped to be better maybe than the M40X or the SHP 9500 and or anything at that price. And I don't think this can compete with the M40X because the tonal balance here is just bright and metallic and not very good. It's not very good, but it's okay. It's an okay headphone for its price. It's also cheaper than the M40X, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very relatively budget headphone. It sounds decent enough, but it's not something that can pierce through a higher price bracket. So it can't compete at around $200. With the M40X, for close backs, it might be able to compete there. However, I still doubt it because I think you have the Shures at that price point. And the Shures, a lot of the Shures are actually very good, especially for the cheaper sets. And what I have here, I will talk about you the last. I will talk about you first. This is the GL400, the gold planar GL400. And this is a planar. If you buy a planar, you would expect something to be clean sounding, to be clear, to be well separated. This is just a horrible sounding planar. It's one of the worst sounding planar that I've ever listened to. It sounds honky and it sounds like there is no pina gain here. To be honest, if you want to have sound quality with the GL400, the best bet you can do is just remove the ear pads and listen like so, like this, because this produces the best sound quality you can get with the gold planars. With this, I think you have a bit more upper mid-range. With the pads on, it just becomes muffled and disorientating. The sound is just not correct. The bass here is okay. In my opinion, the bass here is okay. It's good. It's good planar bass. You have planar bass here, but the mids, the treble is just horrible. You have no soundstage. You have nothing. It's just a horrible experience. Except if you only listen to bass, and that's it. Then it might be a good buy. But it's it's a waste of planar technology, in my opinion. It looks beautiful, but the fit is horrible. It's not very comfortable. The cup swivel is not. It swivels right like this, but it doesn't swivel like that. So it's a bit awkward. And the thing is, with my big head, when I place it on my head, it's not going to be like this. It's going to be a bit tilted above. What do you call it? Above being perfectly aligned. It's not going to be perfectly aligned if you have a larger head like mine. So not very comfortable. It's pretty. It's very beautiful looking. It's the sound, however, the comfort is just not up to par. Definitely not up to par to something like these. Even the M40X is much better. I would pick the M40X any day of the week over digital planar GL400. Now with the COS KPH30i, when I first purchased these are surprisingly very good. It's somewhat of a V-shaped, bassy sounding headphone that looks like a freebie you can get from planes. It's like an airplane headphone, a free airplane headphone, or like call center headphone. And it sounds good. It sounds decent. It's not the most detailed, but it has a good tonal balance with a decently wide stage. It's a good choice if you're looking for an open back at below $100. It's very cheap too. It's about $50 if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I would be okay if you want to pick this up. It's a good headphone. However, the problem with the KPH30i's is not the KPH30i's, but the fact that the KSC75 exists, and this is an ear clip. This looks retarded on your head. It looks horrible on your head. It looks dumb. However, if you don't want the ear clip aesthetics, you can buy. I don't know where you can buy one of these. It's somewhat of a headphone. What is this? I think it's right. I kind of forgot. It doesn't matter really. It's kind of like a headphone clip. You can buy like a cheap ass Chinese headphone and just clip it there right there, and you get basically another freebie from an airplane headphone. But these have legitimately the best tonal balance and soundstage at this price, at under $100. You can't find anything better than the KSC75 at under $100. It has a harmonious mid-range, surprisingly very well tuned mid-range and treble. You do experience a bit of peaks and elevation at the treble region, but it's still good. It's still okay. The bass here is horrible. You have basically no bass here. You have mid bass, there is mid bass elevation here, but for sub bass, forget about it. It rolls off insanely early. It's just horrible in terms of bass extension, but for general tonality and soundstage, it's the best at its price. You can't find anything else better. So yeah, if you're not going to buy IEMs at this price, I would really advise you to just pick up a pair of KSC75s. It's a very good ear clip. So yeah, it's not as long as the IEM's video. I don't have a lot of headphones at this price. Maybe the higher budget headphones would be a bit longer than these, because I do have quite a few headphones at around above $100 and under $500, and I also have quite a few headphones at above that price too. There are a lot more things to talk about, because I'm more excited at talking about those type of things. I rarely listen to any of these, except for probably the KSC75. I used to listen to the M40X a lot, so yeah. But now with the KSC75, I think this is the best sounding out of everything on this table. Yeah, you can easily power it with your phone too, so basically the best budget headphone in my opinion, the KSC75. Because that's it for the video today. Don't forget to tune in for the next part. See you next time, Godspeed.